How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to X-Ray 16. Sorry I was gone for quite a while there. Didn't mean to take that long of a hiatus. However, I'm back now. Hopefully going to be posting consistently again. So let's get to it. Today, I'll be going over the Raine Tactical Gear Triple Elastic Mag Pouch. I was originally going to get the Blue Force Gear 10 speed for the front of my JPC, just to have a pouch that would fold flat when not in use, however, be able to expand out and hold extra ammo, tourniquets, other miscellaneous items when needed. And I saw this on Amazon for around the same price as the 10 speed. This was 50 bucks. 10 speed I think is like $59.99 or something like that. And this was very compliant, official multicam, all made in the USA. So I figured, what the heck, I'll try this out. And I think, I don't have any time with the Blue Force gear, so I can't say for certain. However, I do kind of think I'd prefer this over the Blue Force gear if I had them side by side. And I'll cover that in a second. This thing does exactly what I needed it to do, and I couldn't be more satisfied with my purchase. It folds completely flat, almost as flat as it can when not in use. However, expands to be able to hold 3, 5, 5, 6 mags, a tourniquet, 9 bang, whatever other items. It is really great for that. So now I'll go into a kind of 360 overview and then show you some of these items that can hold, both what's advertised and some other stuff I found out when I was just tinkering with it. So starting out, you have 3 heavy woven elastic cells, sorry. These elastic is pretty sturdy. It's not going to rip like some of your cheaper elastics, but it still has a lot of stretch, so it'll hold pretty big items. On the top of these cells, it has these pull tabs. This is what differentiates it from the Blue Force gear. These make it 10 times easier to reinsert like magazines or other items in the pouch, gives you something to hold on to. Whereas with the Blue Force gear, you'd have to grab onto the elastic. So I'm a huge fan of these. I wish they would have made these open loop, so you could have rigged shock cord to them. Wouldn't have been the most crucial thing. I don't know if I'd ever use it. However, it'd be a nice touch, but it's not like a huge deal or anything. In the center cell here, you have your tag, just a small piece of paper that's been sewn on, has the logo and just the name of the pouch. Other than that, not a whole lot to go over on the front. So going to the back, you have your Molle straps here. Don't have ones for these kind of outer columns, pretty standard with most pouches. The Molle itself is pretty flexible. When I first saw these, I thought they were going to be very rigid, like your old school Molle you'd find on like army issued stuff. However, these are very flexible and easy to thread through stuff. And you've got these carbon fiber tabs on the bottom to lock it in with the laser cut Molle. So it's very secure, very easy to go on. However, it's pretty difficult to get off. I took like 20 minutes, maybe more like 15, I might be exaggerating, but it took me a long time to get this thing off just because of how tight these straps are when you get them on. So if that's a big deal for you, like you're going to be taking this thing on and off, I'd recommend probably just going with the 10 speed at that point. However, with me, most of the time when I put stuff on my gear, it stays there for quite a while, unless I'm making a YouTube video on it. So I got this pouch mounted on there and it works just fine. Other than that, there's not a whole lot to talk about when it comes to the construction or the pouch itself. So now I'll go into some of the items it can hold. Starting out with kind of the standard you'd expect, a steel 5.56 mag. Just had a couple airsoft ones on hand. You could throw those in there. There are 3, and it holds them really well. As you can see, it's pretty well retained. I probably wouldn't do any airborne stuff with this. However, for just running and gunning, it'll work perfectly fine, and it's very tight. However, not too tight where you're going to be kind of ripping at it to get it out. It's a very smooth motion, which I like. Next, the other thing you see in these pouches a lot in the Blue Force gears are tourniquets. This tourniquet here, this cat, I folded pretty tall. However, if you fold them the other kind of shorter way, it'll fit them way better. But it works perfect for tourniquets. Next, here's a P-mag, so you're not limited on what style magazine you have. You could throw P-mags in here if you're running P-mags. Holds them just as well. This is way easier to insert stuff when it's mounted on plate carrier, so if I'm kind of jingling it around, I apologize for that. Next, here's a replica 9-bang. You can throw that in there, holds that well, 3 9-bangs. Or similar sized munitions. You definitely can't throw like an M18 in these. I don't think you could throw those in Blue Force gears either, so it's not a huge loss. Also, I wouldn't recommend throwing an M18 directly on the front of your plate carrier, because if you're laying on that, that's gonna suck to lay on. Next, here's just a flashbang, or not flashbang, flashlight, I mean. Holds that pretty darn well. It's a little loose, just, it's a pretty small flashlight. Next, here's like a chem light and a Sharpie. Holds these pretty darn well. Very nice to just be able to throw these up there in a hurry. If you don't have time to like reach up to your pen pocket, you could just throw them on the front of your plate carrier, and they're very easy to grab. So that's another nice option. Next is a roll of electrical tape. You could stuff that down in here like this. Keep it up front and ready to go if you're going to be doing a lot of stuff with tape. And finally here's my Smith & Wesson SWAT knife. I do this a lot, is I keep this in this middle cell up front here with the belt loop on the outside. Holds it really tight, and it's a very easy spot to reach my knife in a hurry if I need to like open something or cut open a box, whatever it might be. Very nice to have a knife up front there, and this pouch holds it perfectly. So that's all I have. It's kind of whatever you can think of around the size of a 5.56 mag will probably fit in here. Things that won't are like your M18s or notebooks. These big Raine the Raines won't fit in here. Your smaller ones will. However, I only have these big chunky ones on hand right now, and those are way too big to fit in here without like folding them in half, which probably don't want to do that. But yeah, that's all I have on hand to show you. Don't think this is the limit. If you get this pouch and have something you want to try, go ahead and try it, and if it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's all I have to say on this. It's a very good pouch. Been running it for 3 months now. Couldn't be more satisfied. Like I said, with only 3 months, that's not a whole lot of time, so I can't speak to the longevity. However, from what I can tell, it seems like it's going to hold up pretty well. Only thing that's happened so far with quite a bit of prone, going into prone stuff, is just some creases in the elastic from magazines, kind of going in there and taking some attention when like going prone. Other than that, it's holding up really well. If for some reason this thing breaks, I'll make a post on it eventually and kind of correct myself from what I said in this video. But as of right now, it's a really great pouch. I would recommend this thing if you're in the market for a triple elastic mag pouch. And I'll leave a link in the description to the Amazon page for this pouch if you're interested in checking it out. And as always, have a great rest of your day.